You know, 2010 was a great year. It saw the release of some of my favorite games, Ace Attorney Investigations, Sonic Unleashed, and Shu Takumi, the creator of the Ace Attorney series, was making an entirely new game, Ghost Trick, a fairly obscure game that honestly needs a lot more attention. Like, I'm not making the video because I want to expand and do something different other than Ace Attorney or something. I'm mainly making this video because, like, this game needs way more attention than it's currently getting. Like, I'm being serious. Besides the occasional Let's Play or review, this game is really obscure. It's a gem that's sort of been thrown under the rug, and today we're gonna take it out from under the rug and show it for the world to see. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghost Trick, Phantom Detective. I'm gonna start this video off by stating this. If you love Ace Attorney, you will utterly love Ghost Trick. Ghost Trick is similar to Ace Attorney in which I literally refuse to spoil the game for anyone who hasn't played it. So unlike all my Ace Attorney videos where I pretty much just expect people to come in knowing everything about the main series, I am not going to spoil anything about this game's plot. You see, Ghost Trick is one of those games where you know the game's primarily focused on unraveling a mystery. And the mystery presented, while simple, opens a world of questions and mysteries. Like, I love it when you uncover something in a mystery game, and it just opens up more questions, making the mystery that much more intriguing. Like, I literally can't stress that if you are an Ace Attorney fan, buy this game. Buy this game. It is well worth your money. And like I said just before this, because I know if I discuss spoilers, people will still watch this video, I'm literally going to make it an effort not to spoil anything past the first 4 chapters. This video isn't a review, it's me telling you why Ghost Trick is worth your money. I mean, in Ghost Trick, you play as a ghost. Obviously. I mean, that's sort of like saying Ace Attorney stars Phoenix Wright. I mean, that's what the series is called, am I right? You know, not Ace Attorney, that thing that's on, like, every single game. Even in Japanese, the game's called Turnabout Trial, not Ryuichi Naruhodo's Spirit of Trials and Justice for Destinies. But I digress. So this ghost wakes up from being unconscious and sees a woman that's seemingly about to be shot. You're told by a voice that you're the only one that can save her, and you're the only one that can. And with this, you follow its straightforward but vague instructions, and you're introduced to one of the game's best mechanics. Like, you have the ability to control non-living objects in your surroundings. Now, not only is this an innovative idea, but it's a very engaging one. It allows for the player to manipulate their surroundings, but watch how their actions affect the events that transpire before them. I'm actually going to compare this to Ace Attorney, as it's often accused by people who aren't quite big fans of the series for not being all that engaging in terms of gameplay. And I can't lie, I don't disagree. Like, hear me out, Ace Attorney's gameplay style was innovative for its time. And I do feel like people should bear in mind that this is a visual novel. Like, we can't really expect to see Phoenix bust out an AK-47 and engage in a boss battle with Gumshoe over evidence. As hilarious and entertaining as it would be, that's not what Ace Attorney is, and it doesn't fit with the style of it. But I do agree in the sense that the Ace Attorney gameplay is getting a little stale. Like, I don't mean that as in it's getting boring. It's still fun for me, but Ace Attorney is sort of the same point-and-click visual novel it was 15 years ago. Apollo Justice, excluding the perceived mechanic, really does nothing to innovate the gameplay, and Audacity does a better job in spicing up investigate with allowing you to tilt the camera during investigations, but for the most part, it's just minigames. From the outside's perspective, I can see why Ace Attorney looks like it's getting a little stale. The series is showing very little signs of change, and while I and many other veteran Ace Attorney fans don't mind this, I can completely understand why people view the series in this way at the same time. Investigations 1 and 2 were spin-offs that managed to innovate the gameplay style while remaining Ace Attorney. They had an equivalent to cross-examination. It still stuck to the conventions which made it Ace Attorney, but it innovates so many things in gameplay and mechanic that I honestly don't understand how anyone can dislike this game. It's basically just Ace Attorney and more. And that's a good way to describe Ghost Trick. It's innovative. You know how Ace Attorney is all about finding out who the culprit is and why they did it? And you know those moments where they show the killer and it sort of just ruins the mystery in a way? Like, I know that some of them are tutorial cases, but it doesn't really excuse it. Like, we can have good tutorial cases without them handing the victory to you. Turnabout Target and Turnabout Trump are some fine examples of great tutorial cases that don't give away the killer. Just saying. But Ghost Trick flips that on its head. So you get to travel back 4 minutes before the victim's death and find out how they died, and in some cases, who killed them. And I don't go, "Aw man, they showed the killer again." I go, "Alright, why did this happen? How did things turn out this way? And how can I stop this from happening? What can I learn about myself from this person?" The mystery of Ghost Trick starts out so simple. Who am I? What was I doing here? And why was I killed? Not only are those simple, but they're questions that you genuinely want an answer to. And it's the driving force behind your whole investigation. You want to find out who you are. And it just expands and expands and it keeps piling on more questions. But never is it anything convoluted. It's all relevant. All the questions that you begin to ask yourself aren't just random. They all relate back to one singular question. Who am I? And it's the only thing you really care about. And you grow to care for other things through this association to your goal. And it's not like you can take all the time in the world either. No. Ray, the person who teaches you about ghost tricks, tells you that after the sun rises you'll cease to exist. You're fighting against time throughout the entire game. Even when you go back 4 minutes before someone's death, you need to be strategic. And it's always such an intriguing puzzle to attempt to save someone's life through using your surroundings. Yeah, in the first chapter you just take out the killer, but it isn't that simple most of the time. Sometimes you need to find ways to hide the victim, and in some cases even fake the murder, in order for the killer to not notice. This game has so much going for it. The mysteries tie into each other so well. The game never forgets what its rules are and what it establishes. Your powers themselves are so simple, yet so cool and effective at the same time, because of all the possibilities. It's genius. And while Ace Attorney is all about solving the crime and finding holes in the prosecution's logic, Ghost Trick is about the struggle of finding out who you are. You're not investigating crime scenes, you're a ghost. You're watching the story unfold and interacting with people through thought and trying to find out the truth of what actually went down that night. The pieces of the puzzle are scattered around, and you use the ghost tricks to navigate your way to the truth. You use ghost tricks to intercept telephone conversations and reach different locations. You use them to interact with people you've saved. You use them to gain more of an understanding of what went down that night. Like, it's honestly such a brilliant twist on the visual novel genre. Its unconventional style was not only refreshing, but genius, making both parts of the story and gameplay equally as engaging. It's amazing! If you haven't played it yet, and you're an Ace Attorney fan, what are you doing? The first 2 chapters are free on iOS, so download it, like, now. There's not a single person I've sat down with Ghost Trick and said, "Wow, this game is just reading," or "This is pretty dull." They get immersed in the immediate mystery and urgency of the situation you've been placed in. So even if you're not an Ace Attorney fan, or if you've had a friend who wasn't really fond of Ace Attorney, give them this. 9 out of 10 times they'll say they enjoyed it. I didn't make this video to go into all the amazing twists. I didn't make this video to spoil the game for my subscribers. I made it to bring attention to what I believe to be Shu Takumi's finest work. This is why you need to play Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. It has an engaging story, innovative gameplay, and the first 2 chapters are literally free on iOS. Like, if you're watching this video, if you have time to be watching me, then you have the time. If you enjoyed it, buy the rest. And the iOS port is actually really good, so you don't need to worry about that. Ghost Trick is great, and I'd argue it's something that every single Ace Attorney fan needs to experience at least once. And with that said, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I'm the Storyteller, and I'll see you around.